Hello students, we shall continue with the human evolution. The next fossil man to study is Australopithecus. The term Australo is derived from the Greek word australis, which means southern. This particular fossil of Australopithecus is discovered in the fossil beds of South Africa. Hence the name Australopithecus is given to this fossil. As we understood earlier, Pithecus refers to ape, Australo refers to southern. So they are seen in the southern part of Africa. This fossil man was also referred to the prehistoric man as Ramapithecus. Reason is that they do shade the ape characters. They lived during the Pleistocene epoch of early period. When we look at the geological time scale, after the Miocene period is Pleistocene period of epoch, where the first ape-like man was discovered. Hence, Australopithecus is also called as first ape man. The reason is he was a man with a brain size of an ape. This first ape man showed the bipedal or erect posture, where the movement of the man is by the usage of two hind limbs. And because of this bipedal locomotion, they are considered to be the primitive hominids. Students, remember, hominids are the group of ancestors of the Homo sapiens. So primitive to them was the Australopithecus. That's what the meaning of the term here is. And this fossil was discovered by Darwin in 1925. So down in the picture, when you look at towards the left extreme, is the skull of the Australopithecus, where you can find the size of the brain that is the cranium is very small comparatively. So it is around 600 ml or cm cube or cc of size it had. The characters or the salient features when we look at these Australopithecus ancestors have lived in small groups on the trees. So they led the arboreal life, but they moved down onto the terrestrial region and walked. So it is not swinging, it is not moving from branch to branch like that of Ramapithecus or Dryopithecus man. But here it is by the usage of the bipedal locomotion, they used to move on the ground, whereas they lived on the trees. So they left the arboreal life. The size of the brain was small, to that of 400 to 700 cc, which is almost to that of the size of modern gorilla. They lived 1.5 millions of years ago. They were short-statured of 1.2 meters, that is 4 to 5 feet tall, and they could walk by using the bipedal locomotion, that is hind limbs. So the bipedal locomotion was due to certain of bodily changes that they showed. Number one, they had distinct lumbar vertebral curve. So when you look at the man's posture, at the lower hip region, there is a head S-shaped curvature. We call it as lumbar curve. So that is well seen in this particular ancestor. Then thighs and hip region were very well adapted for the running, walking and erect standing postures. Then the ankle bones, when we look at, the ankle bones bear the body weight during the bipedal locomotion, which is also a character that supports the organism to exhibit the bipedal locomotion. When we look at the ankle bone structure, it is intermediate between the human beings as well as the apes. The big toes, when we look at, they are adapted for grasping things, holding things during swinging by using the arms. So arm swinging you find generally in lower group of primates. So that we call it as brachiation. So to hold the branch, they made use of the hind limbs also. The arms were less mobile, not like that of a modern man. The pelvises, that is the hip bones, were said to be very broad and flattened, indicating the erect posture support. The dental arch, that is the jaw with that of the teeth arrangement, when we look at, it is a round, smooth and parabolic. Students, when it becomes parabolic from V-shaped we found it in the Ramapithecus man and Dryopithecus man. Whereas in Australopithecus, the shape of the dental arch became parabolic. The teeth were large, similar to that of the human, and they showed very large jaws. So jaws were very large. There was absence of a simian gap. Simian gap refers to the gap between the teeth structures. It was absent. Then the face was pronatus, where the lower jaw was protruding. So it is drawn front, as what you find for a chimpanzee or a monkey. Then the chin was absent. The eyebrows were less projected but were thick over the eyes. So eyebrow ridges are nothing but between the forehead and the orbit of the eye. You have the junction part, we call it as the eyebrow ridge. So this was less projected in case of the Australopithecus man. The position of foramen magnum. You know, students, foramen magnum is the opening through which this brain comes out of the cranium to form the spinal cord. So that opening of foramen magnum got shifted from the side of, or the position of, posterior to ventral. So generally the position of foramen magnum got shifted down. Then they were the inhabitants of the African mainland. So that's another special feature related to Australopithecus man. Coming on to the species of Australopithecians. Australopithecines refers to the representative forms of Australopithecus men. So there were 4 major species recorded of Australopithecus group. The first one is Australopithecus ramidus. This species of Australopithecus was 1.2 meters tall, and foramen magnum was very large, indicating upright walking. They showed erect posture. Then they were making use of bipedal locomotion. The forelimbs were different from those of early ape-like ancestors. They became short. They had teeth like that of the human beings, as how you see in the picture down. The second group of Australopithecus is afarensis. Australopithecus afarensis includes a very famous example or a popular example by name Lucy. It's a fossil that belongs to the species of Australopithecus. This species of man also inhabited in the places of Africa, but they were short-statured compared to ramidus. They had a very small skull with a flat nose and no chin. So nose was flat, chin was absent. They walked with the two legs, but remember, legs were slightly bowed, which made their walk slightly ape-like. It is not completely like that of human beings. Slightly ape-like character of walking movement they showed. They had bowed legs, fingers, toes, which helped them to climb upon the trees and lived on the trees. So as we discussed earlier, these Australopithecus representative forms lived on the tree, arboreal life. They had a very large teeth and very large jaws. So strong, large jaws with strong teeth is the character related to Australopithecines. So the third species is Australopithecus africanus. They also inhabited in the southern parts of the Africa. They showed the bipedal locomotion. They do had a small skull. Which resemble like that of any other Australopithecines. They had large teeth compared to the present human beings. The large teeth is an indication that they are herbivorous and they had a very large jaws. Students, remember, large jaws with large teeth is the characteristic feature of herbivorous group of organisms, as we find in Australopithecines also. The fourth species is Australopithecus robustus. As the name indicates, these individuals are taller than the rest of the species. They are still ape-like. They weighed more than that of the other ancestors. The weight was very gigantic. So the height was gigantic, weight was very robust. And they were the first group of representative animals of Australopithecus which was showing the features similar to that of Homo habilis. Students, first time we hear the term Homo. So from the Australopithecus genus, Homo genus has arrived because Australopithecus robustus shared the similarities with that of the Homo habilis. The first man in the genus was Homo habilis. From this Homo habilis, the rest of Homo knit group of ancestors originated. So that's the specialty of Australopithecus robustus. The next example that we understand is Homo erectus. Students, as the name indicates here, Homo erectus, erectus means upright. So Homo erectus means upright man, who is also called as Homo ergaster. Reason is that he is the first workman. I mean to say, this is the man from the group we find the usage of different tools made up of the stones, later into the metals were used by men. Students, Homo erectus were originated from the descendant group of Homo habilis. As we have understood earlier, Homo habilis means handyman or able man. They were the first makers of the stone tools. But in your syllabus, soon after Australopithecus, we are going to study Homo erectus. In between, we have Homo habilis group of a species of ancestors. From them originated this Homo erectus. So hominid man is a representative form, so starting from Homo erectus. So hominid representative is Homo erectus, which lived during mid-Pleistocene epoch. Students, remember, Homo group of human race started from Pleistocene epoch. Pleistocene epoch. The salient features of this particular race of man, when we look at, they are the first hominid fossils available who lived in the mid-Pleistocene period, who are the succeedent group of organisms of Australopithecus. They had the size of the brain which is larger compared to Australopithecines. They are described initially with the name Pithecanthropus group. Pithecanthropus refers to the same Homo erectus, but it was given, the Pithecanthropus group of organisms are given with the name Homo erectus by the scientist by name Meyer. So down when we look at the fossil, skull relates to the Homo erectus, where you can find the eyebrow ridges were very thick. The salient features of them when we look at, they lived around 1.6 million years to 2 million years ago. They are the first primitive hominid group of organisms having a larger brain in them. The skull was discovered in the places of Africa, Java and China. The first specimens of this hominid group were discovered in Java between 1891 and 92, and hence they are also referred as Java men. You can see down in the picture, both the right and left side of the slide, the diagrams depicting the characters related to this Homo erectus man. They were walking erect by using their long legs, bipedal locomotion. The brain size now ranged from 600 cc, then from 700 cc to 900 cc. That is, the brain capacity was 900 cc. cc or ml. They have very massive jaws and larger teeth. The jaws were very bigger, indicating that they ate meat. So they are carnivorous group of ancestors. They used stones and bones as tools to kill the predators and even the prey. They were the first one to use fire for cooking. So that's the specialty related to Homo erectus men. Then they were the first one to start communicating with a primitive type of speech or vocabulary. They were the first one to migrate from the places of Europe, Asia, and Africa to rest parts of the world. There are two fossil types recorded under Homo erectus. Otherwise, Homo erectus can be classified into two types of races, namely Java man and Peking man. So they are the places of the China. So students, remember, till now we were understood that the men were from Europe, Asia, and Africa, the fossil men I meant. But now, for the first time, we hear China. So these fossils of Peking man and Java man were recorded and discovered in China. Hence, they were given with the name Homo erectus for Java man, Homo erectus pekinensis for Peking man. Okay, so that's the specialty related to this particular Homo erectus man. Now we shall understand each of the type, Homo erectus, that is Java man, and Homo erectus pekinensis, that is Peking man, separately. First one, we shall start with Homo erectus erectus, that is Java man, also referred as Pithecanthropus erectus. Down in the picture, you can find the features related to them. The fossil of this Java man was discovered in 1891 by Dubios in the bank of Solo River of eastern Java. Hence it is called as Java man. It was discovered in the Pleistocene deposits of 1.5 million years back. So you can see the features related to this Java man. The cranial capacity now got enlarged to 940 cc, that is ml. The intermediate cranial capacity, it is of between Australopithecus and modern man. Australopithecus is between 400 to 700, modern man is between 1400 to 1600 cc. So in between, this is the cranial capacity of a Java man. He was 5 feet tall and 70 kgs of weight. This is the average height and weight of the person. Then the forehead was low and slanty. So this is called as sloped forehead or receding forehead. The face was prognathous. Prognathous because the lower jaw is protruded. The jaws were very massive with a very huge teeth like that of Australopithecus man. The chin was absent. The eyebrow ridges are bony and were very clearly seen. The molars became small, indicating that they had some change in their diet. The frontal teeth were very large and prominent, indicating omnivorous diet. Omnivorous refers to feeding on the food of both plant and animal origin. So this particular person started eating on the animal products also, animals also. So they are omnivorous individuals. They started to live in the caves and they were wandering in the forest. Students, I am very sorry. It is not wandered, it is wandered. W-A it should be of. I am sorry for this grammatic error. So they lived in caves. They were moving in the forest during the cold season, rainy season, and night times. They started to move into the caves. They started using the tools. They started making use of the cloths by the usage of animal skin. Then they also made use of a rudimentary language for communication. So these are all the characters related to Java man, like that of Homo erectus species. The second representative form of Homo erectus is Homo erectus pekinensis or Peking man. Pithecanthropus pekinensis is the other name or the older name given for them. It was Davidson Black in 1920 who discovered this fossil of Peking man from the caves near the Peking region. Okay, both are from China. So they lived around 500,000 years ago. So down is a picture of the skull and the representative features of Peking man. You can see the eyebrow ridges, how thicker, how strong the jaws are. The cranial capacity of this man was between 850 to 1200 cc. They were more than 5 feet tall and weighed around 70 kgs, like that of Java man. Their forehead was slopy and slant. The face was pronatus because the lower jaw is protruded. Upper jaw is also protruded, like that of an ape or a monkey. The jaws were very massive with a huge teeth. You can see the representation of all these characters down in the picture. The dentition was similar to that of the human beings, but they showed very long canines, like that of carnivorous organisms. The chin was absent. They had a very thick, bony, heavy eyebrow ridges. The molars were small, indicating omnivorous feeding, and they lived in groups. They also used fire for cooking. They made use of stone and wooden tools. They were wanderers, also referred as the nomads. They are the persons who travels without any aim. Then the frontal teeth, when we look at, they were very large, with small molars indicating omnivorous diet. They were hunters and they gathered food by using stones, tools. That was the specialty related to Acheulean culture or Abbevillian culture. Students remember, Acheulean culture refers to the culture which prevailed in 1.5 to 2 millions of years ago in the lower Paleolithic culture, that is old Stone Age period, where the stone tools were very prominently used by men. Abbevillian culture, Abbevillian, Acheulean refers to the place. So their culture refers to around 4 to 6 lakhs years back. They made use of hand axes and sharp bones to kill the enemies and even the prey. So that was the specialty related to the culture of those people. Remember, overall this culture refers to usage of a very strong, sharp stone tools and bony tools. They started to make use of animal skins as their cloth and went into the caves to protect them from the cold. They made use of the rudimentary language for communication and used stone tools for hunting the wild animals. So these features remains common with that of the Java man. So brain size, height differs, rest all features almost resembles like that of Java man. The next type of fossil that we need to understand is relates to Homo sapiens of hominid man. Students, hominid man refers to the closest relative of the Homo sapiens who lived during late Pleistocene epoch. This Homo erectus was succeeded by the early Homo sapiens or hominid species like Homo neanderthalensis, then Rhodesian man, Cro-Magnon man, and then Homo sapiens species. So that way we need to understand rest three types of fossil man. First one to start is Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, also called as Homo neanderthalensis or Neanderthal man, who is also referred as Neanderthaloid because they share the features. Students, remember they were the hominid species who existed in the late Pleistocene period. A Neanderthal man's fossil was excavated or discovered in the cave rock of Neander Valley in Germany in 1856, which was around 150 years ago. In the Europe, Asia, North Africa also, the same fossil was seen of Neanderthal fossil. The features related to this Neanderthal man is they are very heavy built. They had curved bones of thigh region and shin region, that is upper leg and lower leg region. Knees were bent but showed the upright posture. They were short and stout of 5 feet height. The skull was very thick with a brain capacity of 1450 cc, which is almost equal to the modern man. So down in the picture is representing the fossil of Neanderthal man. The forehead of this man was also receding. The face was very large. 2 jaws were protruded, showing pronathous condition. Natho refers to jaws, pro means protruded. Shoulders were stooped. They were bent. The eyebrow ridges were very heavy, thicker, as we see in the skull. The jaws were protruding, showing the pronathous condition. They were very massive to hold very strong teeth. Chin was absent in these individuals also. They started making use of fine sharp tools which are symmetrical in their condition, mean to say they had a proper shape. This tradition we call it as Mousterian tradition, which refers to a Middle Stone Age period. Mousterian refers to the cave from where this fossil was discovered, which lived 70,000 to 32,000 years back of BC. They made use of the sharp tools to hunt their prey. They killed large animals by using the pit traps. They used to dig the land and make pits, and the animals were made to move towards that particular pit, and when they get into the pit, they used to use the sharp edged tools and kill it, and the meat was fed by them. They also used fire for cooking and warming their body. They used animal skin as their clothes, also used ornaments and utensils as we see in Old Stone Age period. So for the first time, the social life of them are making use of ornaments as well as utensils for cooking. They were the first one to practice rituals of birth and death. Like dead bodies were buried by throwing flowers upon it. So they started respecting the burial process, birth process. And their culture is more evolved than the Acheulean culture and Mousterian tradition. The next ancestral man to study is Rhodesian man or Homo rhodesiensis. It is also a Neanderthaloid species. It lived during late Pleistocene period, and the fossil was discovered in the large limestone cave of Rhodesia of Africa by Zwigler in 1921, and it was described by Arthur Smith Woodward in 1921 itself. Down is a picture representing the Rhodesian man's head. Coming into the features related to this man. The skull was very thick, narrow and long. The cranial capacity got reduced from 1,450 to 1,300, almost equal to a modern man. But the features rest are similar to that of modern man, except for this cranial capacity. They had supraorbital ridges which are very prominent like that of the human beings. The face was very large, broad, with a slightly pronatus jaws. They were more showing the features as that of human beings. They were very strongly built. Their forehead was receding, very very low and slanty. The eyebrow ridges were very large. The nose was also very large and thick. So when you look at the features, almost looks like that of a Negroid man. The jaws were very massive with the teeth. Maxillary jaws, mean to say the upper jaw, was having no canine fossa. So fossa refers to the cavity. Cavity for the canines was absent in this maxillary jaw, indicating that they showed more characters towards the hominids. The third molars were reduced. They were primitive than the Java man the scientists have predicted, but still the advancement of characters like that of human beings are seen in them. The next man to study is Cro-Magnon man, also an example of Neanderthaloid, the earliest Homo sapiens species. So the first Homo sapiens species is Cro-Magnon man. As we know, Homo sapiens refers to wiser man, man with the wisdom. So first Homo sapiens were Cro-Magnon man. They existed in late Pleistocene period. It is also called as Upper Paleolithic. Paleo means old, lithic means stone. Old Stone Age period representative they were. The fossil was discovered in the cave of Cro-Magnon of France in 1868 by MacGregor and Louis Lartet. So down is the picture representing the fossil of Cro-Magnon discovered. They lived in the Europe during 30,000 years ago. Then they spread their number to Australia and America later. They were the close relatives of the modern man, having 180 centimeters of height. When you look at their body, two types of hairs were seen, rough hairs and fine hairs. Rough hairs were seen on the region of the beard, the eyebrows, the armpits, and the pubic region, whereas fine hairs were seen on the rest of the body parts. The fat deposition started accumulating in the body to give the shape for the body. Then they had a very large, thick skull with a brain capacity of 1600 cc, indicating they were more intelligent like that of the modern men. So down is the picture representing how the Cro-Magnon man's skull was. And you can see the parabolic arch of the dentition. Foramen magnum totally shifting towards the ventral position. The face was broad. The forehead was round. So round forehead. For the first time, slanty forehead started showing the round feature. Nose was narrow. Here, till now we have understood it's long, thicker. Now it is narrow. Chin was prominent. For the first time, the chin gates appeared. Then heavy eyebrow ridges are absent in them. Then they showed erect posture with a bipedal movement. They showed plantigrade type of locomotion. It means walking with the toes of the foot. So the foot toes are used for the locomotion. The vertebral column, when we look at it, showed a perfect sigmoid curve. The last vertebral bone called sacrum was very broad, indicating straight or erect posture in the organism. The hands became free from that of locomotion, showing opposable thumbs. Students, remember the thumb becomes opposite to the rest of the digits. We call it as opposable thumb. It is to hold things very firmly. So grasping process is well seen for the hand region. Then hind limbs were stronger and adapted for terrestrial mode of life, especially for walking and running. The thigh bones, when we look at of the Cro-Magnon man, it was slightly flat, indicating the erect posture. So these flat thigh bones are called with the scientific term platymeria. Meria refers to thigh. Thigh bone becomes flat. Similarly, the shin bone also was flat. We call it as platynemia. That's a special characters related to Cro-Magnon man, indicating they became very erectile or straight posture. Then they were having swift foots. Meant to say they used to run with the help of the foot. They lived in the caves. They were very good experts in hunting process. Students, remember, they were the first one to use paintings on their cave rocks by using the paints of the clay, animal fat, metal oxides, etc. They used sculpture. Sculpture refers to art of carving, either on the stone or on the wooden or on a metal. They used to carve things to get the image. So they were good sculptures. Then they used symmetrical sharp tools like spearheads, arrows, like that of the Mousterian tradition, as you see down in the picture. Then they used fire for cooking. They were omnivorous, feeding on both animal and plant of food. They used fire for cooking. They used skin of animals for crude clothing. They practiced religious rituals of birth and death, as what we find even till today, like that of Asians and Africans. They used the ornaments of ivory. Ivory refers to the tusk of the elephant. So ornaments made up of tusk of elephants were used to decorate their body. So down is a picture that shows an example. They started settling in the communities, in groups, where food was more abundant. So in the place where the food was more abundant, they started settling there to form the society. They started making use of verbal communication. They showed social behaviors and lived in caves with their family members. They were the first one to show the rearing of dogs. The domestication of animals started. The next man to study is Homo sapiens sapiens, the modern man. Students, this is not there in your syllabus, but still we need to know about our own features. This Homo sapiens sapiens, the modern man, originated around 11 to 12,000 years ago, forming three different races, namely Caucasian race, Negroid race, Mongoloid race. Caucasians are Western people, Negroids are African people, and Mongoloids are Japanese people. So when you look at the Chinese people otherwise, so features of those particular individuals are seen. So Caucasians were spread in west shores of Europe, Southwest Asia, North Africa. Negroid people spread in the Africa and Malaysia. Mongoloid people spread in the northeast Siberia and even in the China. Down in the picture, when you look at certain features, modifies between them, okay, brings in the difference. So this modern man has evolved from the Cro-Magnon man, showing cultural and technical evolution. Evolution related to the cultural and technical related aspects. So they were the first one to make use of domestication of cattle, dogs and sheep. Then they were the first one to establish the towns. They started making use of metals from the ores. They started extracting metals and use metals. They used ornaments and jewelry, as what you see in the picture down. The cultural evolution helped the human beings to live in a group with a protected life. And this had started during Mesolithic or Middle Stone Age of Holocene or present epoch period. They were the first one to make use of sharp-edged tools. Tool making revolution is one of the important factors for hunting skills. Then comes agricultural revolution, where a settled life along the domestication of animals have improved the farming skills. It's the second type of explosion of the people seen, which was 6,000 years back. This has started during Neolithic, that is New Stone Age period of Holocene present epoch. The third was scientific industrial revolution, where it took 300 years back, where the lifestyle of man started towards a sophisticated life, most luxurious life. The techniques of food production, industrialization, medicines started originating. This has started during Iron Age of Holocene or present epoch. This was the third explosion of population. So with this we are completing the concept related to human evolution, students. Very quickly we shall look into the MCQs. First one, which of the following fossil man had religious feelings of worship and used burial customs. Of all this man, the burial customs and the birth rituals were used for the first time by Neanderthal man. Neanderthal man. Homo erectus is the zoological name of which particular man? It is both Java man and Peking man, both 1 and 2. So answer D is right. Neanderthal man differs from that of a modern man in having protruding jaws. So modern man had chin prominence, whereas it was absent. So answer is B, protruding jaws. Java man is also referred as Pithecanthropus erectus. So answer A is correct. Which of the following is true for Homo sapiens? Protruded mouth, cranial capacity of 1450 cc, developed chin and omnivorous. So developed chin prominence is seen in Homo sapiens. So answer is C. Question 6. Geological evidence of most primitive man-like animals were found in which of the parts? It is in Central Africa. Answer is A. The major advantage of bipedal locomotion is that to release forelimbs for other purpose. Generally, the forelimbs were made free not only to have the bipedal locomotion but to hold the food and to gather the food. So that was the major aspect. So answer is A. Fire was first used for protection cooking by the man of Java man, that is Homo erectus. The theory of evolution indicates that man apes had a common ancestor. Answer is D. The human ancestors who left the cave paintings were Cro-Magnon men, the Homo sapiens group. So answer is B. The surviving members of family Hominidae are of the group. It is Homo sapiens group what we have. So answer is C. Nutritionally, Australopithecus people were of herbivores. They started to live on the trees but moved in the forest. So they were herbivores. The fossil Lucy belongs to the Australopithecus species. So B. Dryopithecus had an ape-like character showing knuckle walker, mean to say walk with the knuckles, U-shaped dental arch, slightly projecting snout. So all the above is the right answer, D. They both had U and V-shaped dental arch because Dryopithecus was discovered in Africa, Europe and Asia. So they show different characters there, okay. Which one is the closest to the modern man? It is Cro-Magnon man. Answer is B. Peking man belongs to Pleistocene period. Epoch. Answer is D. Which of the following was the first to stand showing bipedal movement? It is Australopithecus. Cranial capacity was highest in Cro-Magnon man, 1600 cc. So it is answer is A. The scientific study of human evolution is paleoanthropology. Answer is D. Which of the following fossil man was discovered in India? It is Ramapithecus man or Sivapithecus man. Okay, so answer is B. Well, students, the outcome of today's session is we have understood the salient features of important fossil stages of man. It is a concept which is very important for your main exam. Usually they ask it for short notes. If it is one, if it is more than one, it will be asked for the major question. Very important question that's definite of getting a question on it. I mean, important topic, definite of getting a question on it. The references includes web references of Wikipedia and Britannica.com. Book references includes Organic Evolution by Veerabala Rastogi, Evolutionary Biology by Veerabala Rastogi, Cell Biology, Genetics, Molecular Biology, Evolution and Ecology by Verma and Agarwal. Students, your queries and comments can be posted to my personal WhatsApp number. Take care of your good health during this pandemic situation. Hope the concept is clear to you all. It's an important concept and definite of getting a question on it, either for short notes or for a main question. Thank you all, students.